What's up, guys? Sundays for NASCAR here, back for another episode at Michigan International Speedway. We had the Firekeeper Casino 400. Ryan Blaney is your winner. If you guys are new here to the channel, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Every single subscribe means the world to us and keeps motivating us to do what we do. And we have Daytona coming up, a full-length episode that we're going to be shooting. A lot of money's been invested into it. A lot of production and quality is going to be put into it. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Oh, I cannot wait for Daytona. It's only a week away and we only have 4 days of work.
Let's jump right in. This is Sundays for NASCAR. The Firekeeper 400, we're back at the Oval. No more road courses for a minute until Roval.
Yep.
I'm excited to see an oval race back, and we're done with these road courses. I'm kind of road coursed out, Nick. How about you?
Well, I mean, the road courses, we only used to run 2.
Yeah.
And then we went to 3. And I think we jumped to 7 this year. And I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm with you. I think we're a little bit road coursed out until the Roval, and the Roval's going to be awesome. We're going to be there. But yes, it's great to see an oval for this week and another oval next week.
Most definitely. And I'm excited that the road courses, I like the road course schedule that's been added. I like the 7 that we're getting. Drop in the comments, how do you guys feel about these road courses? Would you like to see the same amount next year? What road courses are we changing up, if not all of them? I liked COTA. We talked about that with chairgating. I liked COTA, and I liked the road course that we saw last week,
Indy.
which was Indy. Man,
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. A lot of NASCAR needs to do is learn what happened at Indy and just implement a little bit of changes, but I definitely want to see them return.
Yeah, I agree with you. Whether they switch it up a little bit and run the road course and the oval, I'm okay with that too. I think a lot of fans probably are, but definitely okay with the Indy road course. Hope they bring it back next year. Same with COTA. I think we need another try at that one. Maybe not in the piss pouring rain.
Sure, most definitely. Well, at the beginning of the Firekeeper 400, we had Team Hendrick running strong. Kyle Larson started on the pole. Chase Elliott led most of the race today. He was the dominant car. Fell back at the end, but Team Hendrick is showing their colors, and they're showing red. They're out for blood.
Oh, yeah. William Byron did amazing today.
Yes,
Thought he was going to win this race, to be honest, even though I had picked Kyle Larson. Who saw Ryan Blaney coming? That's brilliant. I mean, but like you said, Hendrick colors. I swear, man, team to beat everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's a road course, if it's an oval, if it's a super speedway, whatever it is and everything.
Right.
Hendrick Motorsports has got it down.
How do you guys feel about Team Hendrick dominating? Are you a Hendrick fan? Are you a Joe Gibbs fan? We know that where we stand. I'm a Hendrick fan boy all day long. Kyle Larson is my boy. Chase Elliott's your boy. Who do you guys have winning the championship, or who's your overall favorite driver? Drop a comment. Let us know.
Oh, yeah.
So we had Joe Gibbs starting off. We knew Martin Truex was going to do really well.
Yeah.
And I was out of him in fantasy points today, or not fantasy points, but fantasy uses. I've used them all. But I had him in my bonus picks, and he caught some damage early on into the race. Kyle Busch actually, I believe, nudged him, tried to come down underneath, and just peeled his back quarter panel off just a little bit, so it caught a lot of wind, and he had to drop back a lot until he was able to heavily tape that up. Almost looked like an eagle nest to me, full of tape, and then he got back up there and showed what Joe Gibbs is prepared to show walking into the playoffs right behind Team Hendrick.
Was kind of upset. I didn't get to see exactly what happened, so I didn't know what kind of shape Martin Truex was in.
Right.
And when I was listening to it on the radio, I knew he had gotten into something and had gone way back, and I was thinking to myself, golly, man, this is like Brad Keselowski 2.0 over here. Every time I use Martin Truex Jr., have to put him in the garage. But thankfully, like you said, did come back and finished really well today. So I did put him back in, but I think I may have taken the wrong person out there at the end.
I think you did as well, and we will get into that
Yep.
a little bit later. We had Chase Elliott winning stage 1, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But before we get to the stage win, I'd like to bring out that when Martin Truex and Kurt Busch, your boy Kurt Busch, was running up in front of Martin Truex, and Martin Truex caught him, looked like he was about to spin him around, and Kurt Busch, he saved it, man.
Yeah.
Like the legend race car driver that he is.
Thank God.
Very skilled, very talented.
I was loving Kurt Busch being up front today. I probably should have played him, didn't do it, but I always love to see my boy Kurt Busch do well. And that kind of scared me listening to it on the radio. I was like, oh man, maybe, since he's running up in the top 5 most of this race, if he has just a little bit of an issue, maybe he's just going to go back and finish where he, normally does, somewhere around 20th to 12th place. So, but again, he saved it. Did an awesome job doing it, and finished pretty well today also.
Yeah, he definitely did, and that is very empowering to see for Chip Ganassi with them selling their team to Trackhouse. This is their last years in NASCAR for the foreseeable future. I doubt that Chip Ganassi is ever going to get back into NASCAR.
Probably not.
But it's definitely an end of an era, and who better to carry out the end rather than Kurt Busch?
Yes.
Kurt Busch is doing outstanding work. That win that he had at Atlanta, we got to personally see that.
That was awesome.
Definitely, guys. And if you haven't seen that video already, we did the Atlanta episode, and we were at track, infield. It was fantastic. Go back. You can see a link right above us somewhere. And go ahead and click that. Go look at that.
Our best video until next week's video at Daytona.
Daytona is going to be nuts.
Yeah, Daytona is going to be absolutely insane. I'm actually hoping for another Kurt Busch win. If not, I'll take Matt DiBenedetto. And then again, if not, I'll take Chase Elliott just because that's my boy. But
Matt DiBenedetto carried himself frugally today. Top 5, top 10, most of the day, man. Outstanding for the Wood brothers in that 21 car.
Yeah, I was super happy about Matt DiBenedetto being up front. And I want to see more of it, to be honest. I don't know if it's really necessarily the car or the driver, but, I'm always going to root for Matt DiBenedetto no matter what car he's in. At the same time, that Wood Brothers car just doesn't seem to get the speed that everybody else does. They're a good team. I know they're Penske affiliated.
Right.
But even still, I want to see more out of Matt DiBenedetto. It's so great to see him in the top 10 these last few races and everything, especially with the road courses and stuff like that. He's doing an amazing job in that car. I'm kind of questioning why it is that they're putting Harrison Burton in that car next year. But
yeah, we've all questioned it, but the season's not over yet. But unfortunately, it's looking like that if there's a ride open in Xfinity, then Matt DiBenedetto is going to be stepping down to Xfinity, which is completely fine because if you look back to John Hunter Nemechek, he dropped back to the Truck Series. Yeah. He was driving the 38. Anthony Alfredo took over the 38 charter. And he went to go drive for Kyle Busch in the trucks for the number 4 truck. And, man, he's been crushing it all year long. Definitely. Which it brings a lot of encouragement back. It brings to the driver a little bit more training and experience to be able to be in that dominant position rather than racing in mid-pack and not really getting that feeling up front. You know what I mean?
Yes. That
also being said, we have the new gen car being introduced this year. Maybe. Hopefully it's still going to happen. You never know with NASCAR now, man. Their calls have been obscene, absurd, pissing a lot of people off. Pissed you off last week. Pissed me off last week. And you just never know with NASCAR.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure.
But Chase Elliott winning stage 1. Kyle Larson in second place. And Austin Dillon, RCR, in third.
I don't think anyone really saw this coming, but you know what? It is so good to see Austin Dillon do extremely well. And of course, we'll get to what happens a little bit later, but Austin Dillon showing up and getting those stage points, he desperately needed them to catch his teammate Tyler Reddick because they're right there on the cut line. Not to mention, after this race was over, Kevin Harvick has secured himself a spot in the playoffs because we did not get a new winner.
Correct.
So, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, in the playoffs, no matter what. Officially. And RCR fighting over that last spot.
It was a great response of Austin Dillon to what Tyler Reddick did last week, winning the stage 1 and stage 2. And it was just, man, Austin Dillon had a rocket, like he said, and Dale Jr. said. RCR built him a fast race car, and he was putting it to its test to the limit, and it was running up front.
Yep.
He actually led a couple laps in first place, which is awesome for Austin Dillon. We actually got to meet Austin Dillon at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
We did. Signed our shirt.
Signed our shirt. And was really cool. Gave us a quick little chat. Took a photo with us, and on his way he went.
Yeah, Austin Dillon, shout out to you, brother. We loved meeting you in Atlanta, and we wish you could have done a little bit better today. I wouldn't blame it on you.
It was nowhere near your fault. In my opinion, we've already seen tweets on the internet saying that there wasn't really anything we could do. Some of our friends are taking Brad's side, but we'll get into that. So coming into stage 2, it was a clean stage. We had our boys, some dropped it to the back because of pit strategy. Kyle Busch, he takes it in for the W. Now, what was exhilarating, nail-biting, and just overall pure f***ery. I'll let you explain it.
Don't get me started on Brad. Brad, what are you doing, man? I know some people are going to take your side, but I don't understand what just happened. So Austin Dillon and Brad Keselowski are fighting over, I wish I knew what spot it was, but I would have to assume that was for the top 10. They're fighting over a stage point or whatever. Austin Dillon's coming down the front straightaway with the dog leg, and Brad Keselowski's on his outside. Austin Dillon gets a little bit of a side draft and everything, has position over Brad Keselowski.
It was a great side draft.
It was a great side draft. Probably one of the best I've ever seen.
No dirty. Robbins racing. Great, fantastic move that Austin Dillon made.
Yeah, all the way down on the apron. Brad Keselowski follows him down there. They already crossed the start-finish line. The yellow flag's about to come out for stage 2. Already, regardless of what's about to happen.
Austin Dillon crosses the start-finish line
ahead
of Brad Keselowski.
Exactly. And Brad Keselowski, in my opinion, just did not give him enough room. I mean, they were going to have to come slow. They were going to have to slow down here in just a minute. And I don't know. Brad just had him all the way down there, and Austin Dillon was on the apron below the line, and he wanted to, rejoin the field. Maybe he thought he was clear. I'm not exactly sure, but Brad held him down there the entire front straightaway and didn't give him enough room because he had about 2 or 3 lanes above him that he could have been. He didn't have to, side draft with him, especially after the checkered flag, because the stage was over.
He had all the room in the world, and that was just uncalled for. What do you guys think? Drop in the comments. Was Brad Keselowski out of his mind when he did that? It was a little ridiculous because of the severity that Austin Dillon had to pay for.
Right. Austin Dillon is possibly the car to beat today.
Yep.
And needs a win to get into these playoffs because Tyler Reddick's ahead of him. And now, with there not being a new winner, Kevin Harvick locked himself in. Denny Hamlin locked himself in last week. So Austin Dillon is fighting for that last spot against his teammate, Tyler Reddick and RCR. I just don't understand what happened with Brad and Austin today, because Austin Dillon hasn't been in the top 5 all year long. And now all of a sudden here he is, and he's doing really well today. And I feel like that I don't think he got a fair shake. I don't think any of us as fans got a fair shake to see where he may have finished up had this accident not occurred. Because when he got turned, he hit hard. Another bad Austin Dillon wreck and everything. We saw it at Daytona like in 2016.
His car got destroyed, man. The front end, he got hit. The front end was completely gone. The back end, the deck lid flew off. It was crazy, man. And I'm glad that these cars are engineered to the safety standards and keeps these drivers safe, because if you were racing back in the Winston series when this wreck happened, he could have very well been seriously injured.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, it is what it is, and that's how it I mean, it's all about racing, man. They race hard.
Just wish it didn't have to go down that way, because today was Austin Dillon's day. He may not have won the race, but I guarantee you that car was top 5 material.
Right. Well, let's go back to Kyle Busch winning that stage. All that hype and that wreck really took away from Kyle Busch winning that stage. And didn't you make the comment that that's his second stage won?
It was Chase Elliott's stage, second stage win of the year, apparently.
Oh,
and
wow.
I haven't been keeping up with Chase Elliott's stage wins like I probably should be.
Yeah.
But apparently,
Same.
when I heard it on the radio that he won the first stage, that this was only his second stage win. That's pretty impressive.
That is
but
impressive.
at the
Especially
same
being
time,
a
you
locked-in
probably
champion.
would expect a little bit more out of Chase Elliott.
Yeah, definitely. And he hasn't really shown, I mean, not saying Team Hendrick hasn't shown up, because they have, and we'll keep saying it over and over again. Kyle Larson. He's done impressive moves. But Kyle Busch, KFB, dude. What's Kyle Busch to do going into the playoffs moving forward?
Well, obviously he's going to have to win, because there's a bunch of guys down there with only one win, Kyle Busch being one of them. So, in my opinion, he definitely has to get another win, whether it be in the first round, the top 16. I feel like he'll definitely make the round of 12. I think, well, unless he gets a win in the round of 12, I don't see him advancing past that. I really don't.
Well,
and that's just my opinion, but yes, Kyle Busch is on fire this year. It's definitely not a last year sort of deal, but at the same time, he hasn't been able to get the job done either. And there's a bunch of guys this year that haven't been able to get the job done.
right.
So
Kevin Harvick being one of them. He secured a spot in the playoffs. Fantastic for him. But that's kind of where NASCAR, I don't agree with the playoff situation. You don't either. But he's made it in without a win. Good for him. And let's see if Stewart-Haas can bring in that W, because it hasn't happened yet.
I'll be honest,
Well, except for
Eric
Eric
Almirola.
Almirola.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't think that I expected any of Stewart-Haas to make it except for Kevin Harvick. So the fact that Eric Almirola got that win at New Hampshire, good for him. Again,
Yeah,
NASCAR just kind of throwing a curveball whenever they can, because the last 3 races it seems like there's something going on. This race was pretty clean. I just thought that, maybe there would be a caution for Tyler Reddick, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But Eric Almirola getting that win shocked everybody. I don't think that's too far from the truth and everything, because I don't think anyone had him in their lineups or anything like that. But Kevin Harvick making it, yeah, that's good for him. For a minute, I really did think that we may get another new winner. He may be out of the playoffs completely, but again, how far does Kevin Harvick go in the playoffs? They just haven't showed. Stewart-Haas in general, I mean, just hasn't really showed up, other than Chase Briscoe at the last road course. And
based on what we've seen this year, I don't think Kevin Harvick makes it past the first part of the playoffs.
I don't either, and I'd have to agree with you entirely, because they just don't have the speed.
Right.
It's nothing on Kevin Harvick. It has to do with the car.
Well,
right?
We have Daytona coming up, and that would potentially put him higher up onto that podium if he can somehow stay mid-pack and race his way to a finish when the big one happens at Daytona next week. And I'm rooting for a new winner.
I'll be honest. I think it might be Kevin Harvick next weekend at Daytona.
Possibly could be. He holds the speed. I mean, he has the speed. It's just hasn't found the right gizmos and gears to make it work this year yet.
I mean, he was doing well in stage 1, and then all of a sudden it was just like every other race this year with Kevin Harvick. I mean, he just doesn't. I don't know it, but again, I don't think it's really on him. I think it's really all about the car.
Right.
Now that has to do with Eric Almirola winning. I have no idea how that happened, but good for him. I don't see him making past the round of 16 either.
So it's been a tough break for RCR today. Yeah. They were running strong, and Tyler Reddick, even though he wasn't doing quite as well as Austin Dillon was still running mid-pack, higher than mid-pack, and doing a fantastic job. Stage 3 comes around. He gets caught up. I think it was right next to Kurt Busch, and I don't even think that they touched. He just lost the momentum that we saw many of these drivers lose. We saw Kyle Larson lose it a couple times. Chase Elliott didn't. William Byron at the beginning of the race, he kept losing momentum. Mm-hmm. Joey Logano. Ryan Blaney was one of the biggest ones. He lost momentum. He was running top 5 and dropped all the way down to like P22. Wow. So it's pretty crazy with the way Michigan, if you lose that momentum, how many spots. It's critical to gain those back, because you lose a lot of momentum, and those cars will just shoot right past you. We had Tyler Reddick, got caught up, losing that momentum. He started slowing way down. Joey Logano's right behind him. You want to take it off? Because I knew you wanted to talk about this for a little bit.
Okay, Tyler Reddick kind of dive bombed down in there in the corner. I feel like that was the move that he should have made, but he did. He lost the traction and everything, started to slide up. He slid up in front of Joey Logano, which slowed him up, and Martin Truex was right behind him. And then Martin Truex just kept going. Just, Joey Logano was already sideways.
Yep.
And he just kept throttling through him. And
I was kind of scratching my head at it. Like, I was almost expecting Truex to come onto the radio and being like, my throttle's stuck or something like that. Because he didn't let off the gas.
No.
He didn't hit the brake. It was just gun it.
You can't lift at one of these tracks. It's almost like a super speedway, like you keep saying.
That's true.
And you can't lift, but at the same time, if somebody's already sideways and you just gotta like push through, I guess that's better than lifting and then losing a whole bunch of spots and everything. You're expecting the caution to come out if you know that you're about to turn somebody. And unfortunately, Joey Logano was caught up in something that I don't really think that he had too much to do with. And everything. It was really just Tyler Reddick coming up the track and getting in front of him. Nobody had anywhere to go, so it was just go time. But again, there was a couple of people that spun. I think Ryan Newman was another one. He ended up spinning and whatnot. But again, nothing that anyone could do. It just sucks for Tyler Reddick because he ended up spinning just shortly after this.
I think Kevin Harvick went around a couple times too.
Oh yeah,
like up in the field, but that wasn't really. It was just kind of like everybody lost it all at once.
Everybody just kind of like stacked up. I mean, on the restarts that you do see 3 and 4 wide and everything, and then it kind of gets single filed out or whatever. But we did have some good racing for the lead. There were a lot of lead changes today, and it was a really good race. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Other than, when I thought that there should have been a caution, but again, I'm always going to complain about that.
Yeah. So the last time that Chevrolet has won at this racetrack,
Michigan,
was when Jeff Gordon was racing for Team Hendrick in 2014. Wow,
that's insane.
That is absurd.
I never thought that statistic was ever going to be a thing. 2014, like that's 6-7 years ago.
Yeah. And then, the past 7 races, it's been Ford because they've been holding it strong, and Kevin Harvick holds a majority of those.
Kevin Harvick wins the last 3 and was not even a factor today.
Nope.
And I called that from the beginning. I knew that everybody was going to play Kevin Harvick because he's so good at this track. He did win the last 3 races. He was actually going for a record today to tie for Bill Elliot for 4 racetracks in a row. Apparently, there are 3 people, Kyle Larson, David Pearson, and I want to say Denny Hamlin? I could be wrong. Regardless, they have 3 wins at tracks in a row, and apparently 4 was the top, and that was Bill Elliott. So definitely Kevin Harvick almost got that record for tying Bill Elliott for the most wins at a track, so being 4, but not even a factor.
Right.
And Ryan Blaney ends up being your winner, so that's super cool for Ryan Blaney and Penske.
Super cool for Tim Penske. Super cool for Ryan Blaney.
Yes.
I'm sure that Penske is sad to see Brad leave, but also like, what are you doing for me, man? So that's awesome that Ryan Blaney can respond to his absence because he's still going to be a top contending driver. Ryan Blaney does best, in my opinion, at super speedways, and he also has shown us last week he can run on the road courses too. Awesome for Ryan Blaney, man. I bet him and Chase are gonna drink a few cold ones after tonight.
I hope so. I wish I was part of that party. Your top 10 for Michigan International Speedway. I'm gonna keep calling that because I like it. You have Ryan Blaney as your winner, and William Byron, 2nd place. Kyle Larson, 3rd. Kurt Busch, 4th. Denny Hamlin, 5th. Matt DiBenedetto, 6th. Kyle Busch, 7th. Chase Elliott, 8th. Brad Keselowski, 9th. And Martin Truex rounds out your top 10 for Michigan International Speedway.
Fantastic top 10.
I quite enjoyed it.
Matt DiBenedetto, top 10.
Another one, like, thank you. Like, I'm so happy for Matt DiBenedetto. I just don't think that it's going to be enough to get another Cup ride. So, like we were saying, probably going to go to Xfinity. Not the worst thing in the world.
And if he does, I'll watch. Like,
yes.
I still catch most of the Xfinity races, but I'm not favoring one driver more than the other. I just like pulling for the underdog. That's how we kind of are.
Yeah.
And I would like to see Matt DiBenedetto go there because he's an underdog right now. I'm going to pull for him, and I'd like to have a favorite diehard driver in the Xfinity series. And if that were to happen, I'm game.
No. I totally agree with you because I'd like to. It would give me more of a reason to watch the Xfinity more than I already do, and so why not pull for the guy that you were pulling for in the Cup Series? Yeah, he didn't get a Cup ride and everything, but who's to say that he doesn't dominate next year in the Xfinity and finally get the sponsorship that he needs to be able to land a good ride, like he's been getting? I just feel like sometimes he doesn't get the a fair enough shake. At the same time, you got to be a driver with sponsors. You got to bring those forward and everything because the teams don't want to have to pay for you the entire the entire year. So you just got to pull in them sponsorship dollars. I guess Harrison Burton does that with his dad Jeff Burton. So
that concludes the Michigan International Speedway Firekeeper 400. The casino, I don't know anything about it, but y'all check it out because NASCAR wants us to. We have Daytona coming up next week. I have been waiting a better half of like 3 months for this specific week because I know next week is Daytona.
Yes.
And we've been preparing. We have awesome skits set up. We got games. We got free merch that we're going to be giving away. And we're going to be at the freaking Daytona night race.
Yes.
It's not the Daytona 500, but yet.
It's not, but we'll get there. I mean, we can at least enjoy the night race this year.
1,000%. And I'm excited. You guys should be excited. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, just go ahead and click it because I promise you're not going to want to miss out on the Daytona content that we're going to be releasing. And if you haven't done it already, go look at Atlanta, go look at Nashville, go look at the other race episodes that we've done, and because they're like nobody else is doing. Our content is like nobody else is doing. What you're seeing right now is our weekly podcast where we conclude each race that we're not able to attend in person.
Right.
But when we're at these tracks, we do it like no other, and it's produced like no other.
We literally have the best NASCAR content to date on YouTube. You hear me, Eric? Because you didn't listen to me at Nashville. I'm coming for you.
I mean, it's just a matter of time. It's just a lot of people like these like vlogging setups, and they don't have the crew that Sundays for NASCAR is built on.
No.
And there's a lot of names out there, and don't get me wrong, we're friends with a lot of podcasters, and they're cool as hell, but they are all telling us, man, you guys are doing it like nobody else. And I see that. You see that.
Yep.
You guys should see that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It means the world, and we'll keep bringing it on. But definitely cool content to look forward to. I'm excited. Yes. Nick's excited. Our whole crew's excited. Sundays for NASCAR is here to stay, baby.
Infield at Daytona. It don't get no better than that. I mean,
definitely doesn't.
I mean, seriously, like if we find ourselves on another bus or an RV and everything, we are gonna be getting the best content from the racetrack, probably better than NBC does. Like, I mean, seriously.
It'll definitely be better than NBC.
I'm just saying.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. This was a solid race here at Michigan International Speedway.
Yep.
A fantastic race. Great conclusion. And congratulations, Ryan Blaney, again on your W. Till then, till next time, Daytona. I'm ready. Daytona, baby.
Woo! Come on, get you some.
I'll cheers to that. Daytona, baby.
Daytona.